I'm not saying anything bad about them, but there needs to be a contact person.
Exactly, we don't have that, they just listen
And
to
it's
us.
not gonna be me either, because I'm not the expert either on this stuff.
I've got a young lady back here that would like to address council.
My name is Peggy Horton. I live on Florence Avenue, 1554. I right now do not have an issue because they're not in my portion of the street yet. But at the other end of Florence, of course, they're having terrible time. My big thing is this whole night we heard about this lack of communication. There needs to be an ombudsman, a central contact, and it goes out from that person where that call needs to go.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
And I don't know if the city needs to set that up or if it's the contact.
It definitely needs to be there.
But somebody's got to do it. Because the communication was horrible. I mean, absolutely horrible.
And as far as the texting that we've done, that's when they send us something, we put it out.
Now, I've got one other thing. And I'm begging for this, because my sister lives on Mimosa, down below. Mimosa's not that big. She wants a couple loads of gravel put down. She's got, her son's coming from Germany to visit for the first time since his dad died. And she's like, now can you see it coming? You.
Everybody probably needs a load of gravel, so I'm going to communicate
It is
what I've
not-
heard tonight
I'm telling you,
with some frustration as well.
I'm telling you, she's older than me, and she has driven through mud ruts and almost tore her muffler off her car, and it's a low-sitting car. I went down to see her one time, and I literally had to go between a telephone pole and a dump truck, and I drive a little Nissan. Little tiny car. And that was a small opening that they left. I could barely squeeze through. I mean, I had about an inch on each side. That's all they leave you. But it's a mess. So somebody's got to set up communication and they need to say.
I agree.
Because we were told that's the way it was going to be, and we feel lied to. Completely.
We are relaying what we receive.
It's
We're not-
like we said, we haven't received a text from anybody.
I haven't got a text.
Never got a text. I mean, once that said the water may be off, you know, on certain days, and if it's this color, don't do your laundry, blah, blah, blah. Big deal.
Twice now.
First time.
Was the last
Saying
time.
it doesn't
That's
seem-
the last text we got.
I'm wondering if there was,
I
it
didn't
seems a
hear-
lot longer than, so it could be the service too.
Yeah, but something's wrong.
Is there any way you could require them to give you more reports, more updates?
Well, we helped them to the standard, especially on like, if there were any like water line issues where they were gonna shut off water. And, you know, they were committed to within 3 days, but they said sometimes we're gonna run into situations where it's gonna have to be fixed right then and there. And so, but it just seems like it's gotten away from us with them. And you know, I assumed that it was gonna be a mess whenever this started, because I know that we're digging right into the groundwater. But a lot of the other issues that we've heard tonight, it sounds like that it's just needs to have a little bit more eyes and ears on what's going on.
Needs to be some oversight over there, county. You know, they need to
Yeah,
be-
because
be
they
able to
ran
fire
over water
what they're
lines
doing.
and knew about it on a Wednesday, and it
it wasn't until Thursday when we called that the water company ever heard about it. And they were told specifically by two different individuals.
There was a leak on Charlotte, and I called the water guy. It was on a weekend. I texted him, called him and said, you got a leak. It was over a week before anybody looked at it on Charlotte. The city, and they finally fixed it. It's running through the puddles.
Chris,
I get it, but I have total confidence after tonight's meeting. I appreciate everybody coming. I have total confidence that the mayor is going to relay this and things will improve in terms of communication for sure. Because, and this is one instance because I hear a lot. And I said, my first question is, well, who'd you hear that from? Did they have a vest or did they have or was it a general contractor? Because those guys aren't, God bless them, because they're doing hard work. But that's not their job, is to openly communicate with residents. That's not in their job description. That's the job description of the foreman and engineers and things like that. So I have full confidence that the mayor will relay all these things in terms of communication and the way the street is left after a work day to them. And I don't think it's going to be asking. I think he's going to demand better communication, better conditions for streets moving forward.
But at the moment, the workers that are down there, like those are the only people we're getting any information from.
Exactly.
Well, that's what needs to change. That's what needs to change.
I appreciate them talking to us because they understand what it would be like if, this was happening in front of their properties.
Right.
And so
I get it.
I wouldn't, I don't think any of us want any of them to be told, don't talk to people.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there needs to be somebody. They need to be able to do their job and work when they're supposed to work. And they need to have that burden. I'm not saying it's a burden to them, but they need to have that burden lifted off of them in terms of having a supervisor, engineer, whoever it may be the communication person, because they've got a job to do. That's not their job to relay information. That should be somebody that's in charge relaying the information and allow them to do their work.
Sadly, there's never anyone in charge.
That's what I'm saying. I think after the mayor's conversation with the companies and all the entities involved, I think that's going to change.
I hope so.
I'd like to bring up something else too. We have a tree that I live where the creek's at, and you've messed up the gravity flow to the basin that goes down into the creek. There's a tree that's fallen there. I contacted Mike Pemberton because I think it's affecting the water's laying in the street, which we don't need that. Right now it can't flow. That tree needs to be moved. I can't move it. I went down
Is
there.
that the vacant property?
Yes, well, Jeff Howard owns the
Yes.
house.
Yep.
Yes, that needs to be taken care of.
So the mayor and I have spoken about that.
Oh, I have one more
It's tough
question.
because it is a price.
I heard that on one of these last meetings, the survey they did about how big the pipe should be and how much water it's gonna hold, they did that during the summer months. Why didn't they do it in the winter months? There's no water in the creek in the summer months, it's all in the winter months. So how are they gonna get an actual read on how much water they're gonna be taking in through these pipes if they didn't do it when the water's high?
Well, I'll say this with 100% confidence.
This is actually fact for like a 50-year rainfall event. Like it's
The pump
more than what it needs.
The pump that is purchased, we had a decision to make, and the pump that we purchased is a little bit, I don't want to say overkill, but it would be able to hold a large expansion to this project.
How loud's it gonna
the
be?
pump, what is it?
How loud's it gonna be and how much is it gonna stink?
No.
It's stormwater. I know everyone says storm sewers, but there's no.
You don't put water
No,
through a drain.
water
it smells.
doesn't stink. I had to tell you, it doesn't.
The pump that was purchased, I will say was 100% confidence.
But
We'll be able to
it's
handle
going back to a
that.
19-foot well. So it's not gonna, and the place will actually look, we've paid a lot extra just to make it look like a desirable place.
So what are you gonna do with the creek? Anything? Because I know right now the
The creek should
DOT,
have a lot less flow than this.
does the city get any profit from taking the water from the DOT, the highway behind my house? Because you don't have a right of way to my house.
That's a sore spot for me. I've said
Yeah.
the
No.
Department of
Sore spot for me
Transportation needs to
too.
pay for a long time, ever since I've sat up here. I've said that, and when you're
Well, that
fighting
might
against the
stop,
state.
that might just come to a stop. 'Cause I'm not
Well,
gonna let them do it.
we have searched far and wide for ways
Yeah, and they
to
come
hold them
through
accountable for that water.
Norfolk Southern right away.
Yeah.
So it's easier that way, but yeah, it's an argument.
Steve Sheridan, 1521 Charlotte. I'm very appreciative of the project. I'm happy it's getting done. I just kind of wonder, is there anybody there on a daily basis making sure it's being done correctly? I mean, we're paying the city residents, whatever, $30 million. Seems like, I almost feel like maybe we don't know what's going on as a city down there on a daily basis, because I can tell you're surprised by a lot of things that have been said. That I just wonder,
Yeah.
is there oversight?
Well, I mean, that's any big project, that's part of the contract, is that there is some oversight on this, and there is a site management person, which is the person we've mentioned prior to now, and that, all of this has already been relayed to the engineer, and hopefully, I mean, we have a project update meeting with them Tuesday. So if they're not already aware of what's my frustration, then they'll see it on Tuesday.
Okay. And I understand that. I'm really am appreciative. I don't want to.
But yeah, I'm not sending city, my guys are not.
But
going
I
to
just
be
want to make
experts
sure.
either, you know.
Right. Well, but we have an advocate as a city, so that it's not the construction company's advocate, it's the city's advocate that's making sure that it's being done correctly. You know, so we're not 2 years, 5 years, whatever, down the road, and there's all these problems, and this company's bankrupt or whatever by then. And I just want somebody looking out for all of our interests as a city, as residents.
Yeah, and I think as far as like the scope as a whole, the project's going to be done the right way. Now, whether it's satisfying everyday residents there, that's where we're having issues. And
Right.
that we could try and mitigate.
Sure, because if they're not satisfying the everyday issues,
Well,
are they getting it done right?
yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a desirable situation when they're working in your neighborhood. I'm not
I
arguing
understand
with
that.
you, I'm just
No, and
saying,
I'm not
as far
arguing
as
with
what
you,
they're
Sam.
doing versus how it affects you and your household might be two different things.
No, I understand that, but we're watching them work on
Yeah.
a daily basis, and it's a cluster sometimes, the way they're working and what they're doing. It just makes me question, are we getting quality work as a city, as residents? You know, it's in all of our interests. I'm not mad at you, Sam, I'm not.
No,
I'm not complaining.
Any of this personally because I'm not down there doing work.
And I'm not complaining necessarily about it, I just, like I say, I'm just concerned that we are getting the quality of work we're paying for.
Right.
And I don't know, is it their advocate that's making sure they're doing it? or
It's
is
more
it-
so of our engineers' oversight on, like I said, the big scale of things. That our engineers are not going and looking at anyone's particular property to assess it unless they're asked to.
Right, and I'm not
As
talking
far
about.
as like the work going on, you know, making sure that it's lining up correctly, that's on the engineers, like they are doing that.
Chris,
I will say, one, at the very beginning of the project, there was an issue where there was an incorrect installation, and our people caught that. And so they've been moving forward properly installing up to this point, but I do know there was one improper installation at the very beginning of the project. They made them redo it, and we're going through the specs, I guess you want to say, They went through with fine tooth comb and explained exactly how it needed to be installed, and it's been getting installed correctly. But that was, like I said, that was like the very first portion that they did. They had to go back and reline it, the word I'm wanting to say, they said. But, so I do know they're properly installing everything, because they had that issue at the very beginning, and I have heard that the installation's going
I'm just
properly.
concerned that, yeah, that we're getting what we're paying for as a city.
I agree, and there probably needs to be, they probably need, which, like I said, I have full confidence in the mayor, but they probably need better supervision, and I think we'll handle that.
And just another question, on the timeline of the project, I know you mentioned saying that there's 3 phases to the project. The first being the pipe, and then I guess the paving of the roads. When's phase 1 expected to be complete? If that's phase
You
1.
said earlier, into the calendar year. Hopefully sooner, but we don't want to sit here and tell you a specific date whenever we may run into snags. That's where we have that cushion built in with 18 months for the entire project to be complete. Will it take 18 months? In a perfect world, no.
Right.
But in the world we live in, possibly.
Sure, but
And if their lead times for certain materials are not there, things like that, we can always run into snags.
right,
There has to be some flexibility for that contractor, because the moment they're late, that's when we start penalizing them for it.
right. So just specifically addressing phase 1, I understand the whole project then is it's 18 months. Then phase 1 done
Here's
before
the
phase
one
2
thing to
and
do, at
phase
least
3.
with like phase 1, and they're not really, it's just a house, part of the house, not phase 1, phase 2. The other 2 things will be happening right now too, if the pumps were here, but they're being built for those stations. Anyhow, I don't know if it's technical, but it has to be, if it's going to be in the calendar year, at least by November, because that's when your asphalt and stuff.
That's gonna be my next thing. And if it gets into too much into cold weather, the asphalt plants aren't working.
Or maybe it is, I mean, maybe not the finished product, but you have a new concrete base that's going to settle, like we were talking about.
Pouring
next layer.
concrete.
It's a concrete limestone, it's like the newer technology that they use as a basin for like, it's a lot stronger than the muck that it was built on the first time.
From my understanding, the majority of it should be done this calendar year, and what rolls over into next year is going to be the tidying up portion of the project.
But it would be tying everything together.
Yeah.
around the pump station.
So that's what that was the statement that I got. That the majority of the bulk heavy work should be done this year, and then anything left over is kind of tying it all together and smaller things. Like I said, like the mayor said, there can be something could come up, like.
I know you can't guarantee it.
Under promise, over
I know you can't guarantee
promise,
it.
because I don't want you back here holding me to this saying.
But if we don't have asphalt by November, we're not gonna have it till
Correct.
a year from now.
That's true.
And we're as patient as anybody can be. It's still frustrating on a daily basis when you can't get in and out, or your car's bottoming out as you go. And these are all things you've already heard, I know. But just having some idea what's going on, and again, I know you don't want them talking to us, but that's sometimes our only information is from those guys, and they're saying they've got a 2-year contract. Well, they started in January, so, looking at 2 years, that's what we're hearing from them.
I personally find, so that's not, there's a.
They may be
Stop.
doing,
Drop dead.
they may have a 2-year contract with Power, and that could be one of their other projects.
Maybe, I don't know, but again.
And that's what I'm saying, like, I don't want those even if, I mean, I'm sure they mean well by communicating what they know to you all, but it's not, we need to have people who know exactly what's going on with the situation you're asking about, so you get the right information.
Exactly, and that's all I want is
And that's why
information.
I've said it many times, that's the end goal here. And
To this
if
point,
they
it's
haven't done
been,
it at this point, right, with all the things I've said to them tonight, then
right, but you guys are the advocates for us.
That's
We
what
shouldn't
I'm
have to
doing
go to, I know,
I'm
5 months into it, we're,
5 months in, and that's when you guys showed up to talk about it. I'm sorry.
it's okay, Sam, it's not personal either. Because I want the best for the city and the residents. I mean, it's for all of us. You included, Chris, you live on Latham, I know, so, I mean, it's all of us. And I just want the best, as does everyone, but again, you know, you gotta understand the frustration with things, and then if you don't have information.
Well, and I like I said, I believe after the mayor's meetings, I think it's going to improve moving forward.
I think so, and I hope so. But it's just some way, if you could text out a weekly update or anything. I mean, at this point, any people want any information they can get.
Right.
And not knowing the timeline or, you know, any of that.
I agree.
It's, you know, nobody likes having a filthy house and a filthy car and a filthy garage. But we're living with it, and I understand we have to live with it for a while, but have some sort of idea when the end game is coming, you know.
I like I said, I'm be willing to bet that they'll improve, the communication will improve after hearing everybody's concerns.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just have one more quick question. Where is the engineer based out of?
Columbus.
He's based out of Columbus? And he relies on the
Yeah, he's here probably 3 to 4 days a week.
Okay. Well, so but he primarily relies on the liaisons reports to him about like what's going on our personal properties. I was just wondering, like, if maybe he could take a day here and there. And actually
Yeah,
go
let
to
me
the sites.
also real quick, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but they have over 1,000 employees, so they do have more than one engineer that would be here any given day. And with all the projects we have, they're here a lot, especially because they work for South Point Corporate as well.
But I just didn't know if, like, maybe instead of just relying on the liaisons work, which I'm pretty sure that guy, he's just want to say everything's A-okay and, you know, kind of move on with his day, his paycheck. But, you know, it'd be nice if, like, the engineer himself would maybe pop by and actually, you know.
He's been down there.
Yeah,
I
he actually
know.
had us on the street.
Huh?
I talked to him, he's been on
Yeah,
the street.
he's been there.
Okay,
How do
Yeah.
you,
that's not, and again, I'm not saying that he
how
hasn't.
do we identify the person that you're talking about?
They're usually not, they're not,
The usual suspects have a
Usually.
light in here.
Find the cleanest guy on the block.
I'm driving
But then there's another one that is an Asian man with glasses. Those two that are usually there. Then the rest of them look like everyone else. Maybe they should. A lot of times they do where they're coming.
Had questions and somebody is there, it looks like they're official. Not that they're maybe supervisors or something.
Marta,
It's not gonna be the same
if there's any way we can
anymore.
give you a hazard pay for the
And
night,
that's why they give me a card.
I'd be willing to sponsor that.
And it shows their card.
What?
It shows their card.
Oh, their contact?
Yeah, like proof of.
Or that?
Business card.
To get a hold of them?
She said business card.
Hey, we can give out their number for free.
So
Then we
now
can
I'm
get
just-
someone call. What is this?
You mess with me, I mess with you.
Oh, I'll happily turn them over to see it.
You put a,
I'm being serious.
give everybody a flyer with all the information and contact information.
Yeah, that's where we need to figure out who that person is.
And how long will that
because They need
take
to
to
be
get?
keeping track of all this too. With the amount of things that have been said tonight, even other than what I've written down here, which is just a whole streamlined process, all of these property claims, they still need to go to the right person. What is it?
We're not gonna have roads in them.
Anyway,
You guys don't do anything on the streets, even in the wintertime down there. I would drive a Camry.
I was
How
gonna
am
bring
I
up,
getting from the
a couple
road?
things I was gonna bring up was one of them was the fire hydrant down, it's actually on my property, about, it's,
Believe it.
slow, the water coming out. The other one was, I'm on Batham Lane, and I'm right where you turn to go down Florence. So those trucks are having to come up on my driveway to make the wide turn to get down Florence. Well, they've busted up my driveway too. You know, I mean, I just had a corridor over here.
sorry, yeah, sorry that.
So, and we're cool with
They are
it.
definitely, those are the one things I know. for
Yeah,
sure.
we're cool with it. We just wanna know what the process is about getting it repaired. Who do we contact?
That's gonna be the contractor will have to do that.
Okay.
Or one of their.
And it's nothing, I know it's not, it's gonna be a while, you know what I mean? I just didn't know how the process was about getting it
Yeah.
fixed later, you know, if it's a year from now or whatever. Or 2 years, whatever it is.
We're gonna have to
We just
figure
need
out
contact
how-
information.
How to get this information to everyone.
Yeah,
Like a flyer would be nice.
Right.
Yeah.
cause I'm lenient, I mean, just as long as it gets fixed, you know. At a later date, on down the road, whenever.
I think that's the type of stuff they're calling tidying up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because obviously you don't want to get a new one installed right now.
No,
You know
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
So I think
Like I said, if it's a year from now or whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
just make sure you take pictures. And
Yeah, I've got
send
pictures,
stuff.
yeah, before and after.
And then we'll get once we get this streamlined and
Right.
everything and the contacts solidified, that's when we'll start running everything out. Because I mean this is going to be a process to get everything streamlined.
Right.
So we'll get that done and get that information out multiple ways. So, but yeah, you don't want to go ahead and get stuff repaired now.
Yeah, no,
You know
that's what I'm saying. I
You're
told
right.
her, I said, we'll just have to wait on it.
Yeah, and it sucks, but it's just one of those things.
Yeah,
You know.
and I get it, I get it.
Right.
Once again, folks, thank you. I appreciate you dedicating your time to this. It's a pretty important issue. So we're going to resume regular council business. Communications, there are none. I'm sorry. Oh, yes.
I can make a motion to, part of the communications, the solicitors, opioid litigation, memo.
Second.
Motion made by Nate, seconded by Chris. Thank you.
Brandon,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
Hop,
Aye.
Con,
Aye.
Harry.
Aye.
Include that ordinance. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you.
It's
Discussion. Did you have discussion?
no.
Oh. Any reports? See that there are none? Okay. On to ordinances. Marta, if you would give first reading to ordinance 2417.
Extending ordinance 2166, 2275, 2336, 2360, and 2402, imposing a moratorium upon new group residential homes or facilities and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Nate?
Make a motion to suspend the rules and give ordinance 2417 second and third reading by title only.
You don't have the votes.
Well, it's a discussion.
Discussion.
Just, no, you can't suspend the rules.
Yeah.
You have to have 6 votes to suspend the rules.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. strike that.
Withdraw the motion.
You can strike that from the minutes and withdraw that motion.
Thank you.
Marta, if you would read ordinance number 2418.
Authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with the Shear Road water line improvements and declaring an emergency.
If you would read ordinance number 2420.
Amending the permanent operating budget for the city of Ironton, state of Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2024, and declaring an emergency for reading.
Thank you. If you would read ordinance number 2421.
Ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into contracts with ODOT for the overlay project and the Oakley Collins Bridge in the city of Ironton and declaring an emergency for reading.
Any discussion? On to resolutions. Marta, if you would read resolution 2419.
Requesting the county auditor to certify the estimated property tax revenue for its renewal flood levy and declaring an emergency.
Nate?
I'd like to make a motion to pass resolution 2419.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Jacob. Motion made by Nate, seconded by Jacob.
Brown.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye. On to miscellaneous.
Hey,
Oh, I'm sorry. Mayor,
the opioid litigation,
I'm sorry, please.
on the opioid litigation that was discussed
Yes, sir.
beginning there, John pointed out that it was recommended that you spoke to agree to the amendment and there be.
We're doing that.
Okay.
You getting ready to do that right now?
All right. So sorry.
Sorry.
Hey,
I thought it was be included in communications.
No, we made a motion to communicate, this part of communications and part of
I
the.
don't think,
To make it
I
part.
don't think that was necessary for discussion with Brigham. I think it was just to be voted on
Right.
and
We
accepted.
did, it's in the minutes. We're good.
Nate?
I'd like to make a motion to amend the complaint and allow litigation to go forward against pharmacy benefit managers.
Jacob?
I'll second that.
So motion made by Nate, seconded by Jacob.
Brown.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye. Okay. On to miscellaneous. Chris?
I'm not wanting to extend this out any longer, but there are, next meeting is, going to be held on Monday, the 20th. Also, the Ethics Commission survey needs to be filled out, by the 15th. Also, coming up, we've got, Navy Night, Thursday before Memorial Day weekend. We've got, Charity Fair, Kings and Queens of the Court basketball tournament, and the pickleball tournament, third annual pickleball tournament coming up on Memorial Day weekend prior to the parade.
Two real quick things. Mayor, thank you on behalf of the folks living on the 600 block of South 8th Street and South 9th Street. They've been requesting handicap signs, so I'd like to thank you and Street Superintendent for approving and placing several much needed handicap parking signs for those with handicap placards between Adams and Madison. Thank you for that. Also, I'd like to ask the mayor, and if this is a discussion for a different time, that's fine. I'd like to ask the mayor if there is an emergency siren system in place in the city. And per the vice mayor, Craig, he mentioned if there is not, however it is that we determine to implement that, if we can get that siren system to integrate into our emergency text system. I got a call at about 11:30 Tuesday night, I guess. Somebody that was still waiting for a roof repair from the first tornado. They were up on pins and needles and said that they didn't hear any sirens on tornado day. I was coming back from Charleston,
We have a tornado siren, it's over across the river, which it services this area. We didn't have any tornadoes. They were considered straight line winds of 100 miles per hour, which are very dangerous still. So I'm not sure if that system does not, unless there's a tornado warning, is the only time that's going to go off, which is meaning there's an imminent tornado in the area. I'm not sure. That kind of goes in with, your 911, EMA, emergency management, all that stuff.
are you referring to the siren? I'm sorry, did I say? Are you referring to the sirens over in Raceland?
I'm not sure where they are in the
I heard something that night at about 10:30, but it was so faint that I don't think that people. I'm just saying maybe it's something that we should look into. I'm sure there's.
It's something to speak to the emergency management agents, them in our county, because that's essentially what they are here for.
Okay.
To do. So, not that I'm saying that we can talk to Mike Foster, who's over that organization, about it.
I've always been under the impression that's up to the National Weather Service to
install.
where they are and to send the alerts out.
And they were here to assess everything.
When that hit, we had homes damaged. There were homes damaged all around me. I had crap flying off my porch. But I didn't get anything on my phone, and I didn't hear the siren, because I always hear the siren that he's talking about.
Yeah.
And I have always been under the impression that is installed by the National Weather Service.
Okay.
And that's who those alerts, that's who alerts the siren to go off or whatever.
It went off last night on a test, and I heard it perfectly.
Yep, I did too.
It might be worth us looking into, at least if they're a grant for it or something. But anyway, thank you. That's all I've got for Jacob.
John sent us an email about the 2024 audit and the questionnaire that he's asked us to fill out. So if you guys have those, he has asked that we give them to him so he can collect them today.
Do you have any copies of that now?
Not with me, but I sent them on email, I think it was May 2nd.
Okay. I got the email, I just haven't printed it off.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay. Anything else for miscellaneous? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Chris, seconded by Robbie.
Brown.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Aaron.
Aye.